What a phenomenal week for the NHL, and it partially came at the expense of the NBA. Adam Silver should consider himself lucky because the criticism that the NBA received this week, it would have been significantly worse if the greatness of the NHL hadn't overshadowed the league. One of the many things that the NHL has proven this week, Americans are starved for sports. And I'm not talking about pretend sports like the WNBA. I'm not talking about sports where toxic masculinity is forbidden. Americans are starved for sports where dudes are willing to sacrifice themselves to entertain us. Americans are dying to see men willing to fight. Believe it or not, there used to be fights in the NBA. Matter of fact, there used to be fights in the NBA on a somewhat consistent basis. There were more fights in 9 seconds of a hockey game the other night than I have seen in the last 9 years in the NBA. I know this is hard for men pretending to be women to believe, but we don't want to see friendship. We don't want to see LeBron James patting Steph Curry on the ass after he makes a free throw. We want to see LeBron run over Steph Curry on the way to dunking on his ass. Don't pat his ass, dunk on his ass. The average NHL player makes around $3.5 million a year. Average salary in the NBA, $12 million a year. NBA players are making 4 times the amount of NHL players, yet for some reason, NHL players are giving 4 times the effort. Why? PK Subban, an NHL analyst for ESPN. And just to be clear, this is not a pretend analyst like Mina Kimes. PK Subban provides actual analysis. Earlier this week, he perfectly explained the difference between the NHL and the NBA. And even though his explanation was perfect, PK Subban did leave one thing out, and Uncle KC will fill in the blank. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Happen to stumble upon this video, be sure to check out my main channel, Behind the Line. We'll be talking about the game last night between the USA and Canada later today on the main channel, so link is in the description below. Earlier this week, PK Subban, he was a guest on Get Up with Mike Greenberg. Greenie! The NHL has commanded the attention of ESPN this week, and rightfully so. Even though ESPN pays millions to broadcast the NHL, they never talk about it, they never cover it. ESPN consistently fails to promote the league. Now, some might think that's a bad thing, but it's really not. Go ask the NBA how well ESPN covers their league. Trust me, ESPN is doing the NHL a favor by ignoring them. PK Subban, he's talking about the NBA All-Star game, and he explains the difference between the NHL and the NBA. Watch it for yourself.
You can step on an NBA floor and go through the emotions. You can't do that in hockey. You can't. Like, the culture of our sport, you have to play it with passion. You have to be willing to fight. You have to be willing to leave it on the ice. That's what fans are investing in. I got a question for the NBA players. What the hell are you playing for? What are you playing for? It's not about the money. You make all the money. What, you're injured? Well, there's a difference between being hurt and injured. Are you hurt or are you injured? There's a difference. In hockey, we play hurt. We play injured. That is the culture of the sport. It's always been that way. What do fans resonate with? They resonate with what's real. You got to fight sometimes for your country. You got to compete. You got to go out there and leave it on the ice because those people are paying the price of admission. So fans know whether our stars are on the ice or not, they're getting their money's worth. The NBA has that issue that they got to work on. You got to create a better culture for your players. It starts with the leaders. This issue, there was no issue when Jordan was around. There was no issue when Kobe was around. There's no issue when Sidney Crosby is around. There's no issue when Wayne Gretzky was around because those are true leaders. They lead by example. Sidney Crosby, Hockey Canada, those players, both Canada and U.S., it was the players that did that for the 4 nations. It's not the league. The league set it up, but the players went out there and decided and said, you know what, boys? We're all in. When is the NBA going to do that?
This was the best analysis that I have seen on ESPN in years, maybe even decades. This is what actual analysis looks like. Mina Kimes, are you taking notes? I know you're busy right now recapping episodes of Blind Love on Netflix. You are providing the 7,500 people watching you with expert analysis on whether Bob will propose and put the ring on Rob's knob. But if you're wondering what real analysis looks like, PK Subban just gave you an example. He is absolutely right. The culture of the NBA has been eroded. He blamed the stars without naming who he was talking about. As far as the culture of the players is concerned, LeBron James is responsible for destroying it. LeBron James turned the NBA into the Boys and Girls Club. Everyone is welcome. Let's all be friends. I love you. You love me. Let's not be physical. We'll just shoot threes. We'll play half-ass so no one will be bruised, but we will passionately bruise your caboose. The only problem I had with PK Subban's analysis, he failed to blame the one person that's mostly responsible for the NBA's destruction. He failed to blame the one person who allowed this to happen. Adam Silver. I say this all the time. Organizations adopt the characteristics of their leaders. When you think of the Saints under Sean Payton, they were methodical offensively and tough defensively. Hell, the defense, they were given bonuses for putting your ass in the dirt. When you think of the Pistons under Chuck Daly, they were willing to fight. They were tough because Chuck Daly was a fighter. Chuck Daly was tough, and he built a team that matched his personality. How would you describe Adam Silver? Meek, weak, people pleaser, pushover? If you were at a bar and Adam Silver was your backup in a fight, you might as well bend over and offer your ass for a fresh kicking. How are modern NBA players described? Soft, entitled, weak. This league is a direct reflection of its commissioner, just like it was a direct reflection of David Stern. Whether you loved him or hated him, the one thing you did not do with David Stern, you did not cross him. David Stern didn't fuck around. He didn't tolerate bullshit. The players of that generation, they adopted his mentality. I know I keep repeating myself, and I know the mainstream media doesn't want to hear this because they love Adam Silver, but if you want to fix the problems in the NBA, it starts at the top. If you want to fix the problems in the NBA, you find a leader with toxic masculinity, because masculinity is contagious. Why do you think men behave differently when we're around other men? The NBA is in desperate need of masculine leadership, and until that happens, this league will continue to struggle. But give me your thoughts on this. PK Subban provides actual analysis on ESPN and decimates the NBA. Is he right? Do you agree with him? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you on the main channel.